evening, everybody. I'm Chris Buckner from HM Magazine, Music for Good, and I'm joined this evening by Bob Schneider here at the Heights Theater in Houston, Texas, straight off his brand new album, Blood and Bones. You know, I've actually been following you since 2007, which unfortunately is just not long enough because I know that you were putting out great albums all the way back in the 90s, and really one of the main questions of the evening is, what is it about Blood and Bones? What makes you so excited about this new album?
Well, it's the first album that I've written since my daughter was born, so it's changed a little bit in terms of like, I kind of realized that most of the songs that I wrote before she was born were kind of like, hey, you're hot, I want to get with you, and now they're like, oh, you're beautiful, I want to take care of you. So there's been a shift.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, great. So I got to ask this question. You've probably described it multiple times, but for our readers and our viewers, describe Frunk for me.
Frunk is just the name that I accidentally came up with for live recordings of the shows. We started doing this maybe like 10 or 12 years ago. I don't know exactly when we started recording the live shows, but when we first started doing it, we were selling them on CD, and we were burning CDs at the end of the night. And so I made some artwork for it, and while I was putting the artwork together, I just wrote Frunk as a sort of a temporary placeholder. And I was like, oh, I like it.
And
so
do you do your own artwork too?
I do a lot of it, yeah.
Okay, because it's very. One of our guys explained it as mosaic. That's kind of what you're going for? It's very unique and kind of placed together artwork for all of your albums, including all of your Frunk. I still go back and listen to your Mucky Duck albums all the way back in 2009 or 2010, and you had the funny or good artwork on the front. I didn't know that you were doing a lot of that the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cheap, so I don't cost anything, so that's why I ended up doing most of it myself.
Oh, good. So I've gone probably to 40 plus shows of yours over my life, and there's never been one show that I went to, this is actually true, that I didn't hear a new song. And so you, on this money you have, or on this album you have Make Drugs Get Money. What is it that takes a song from something that you may have done in years past and it elevates it to the level where you're like, you know what, on this album, it's going on this album? Like, because that song's been out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I feel like that's a newer song, but I do have songs that have never made the cut. I mean, it's basically like when it comes time to making the record, I just kind of try to figure out what are the best 15 or so songs that kind of fit together. Sometimes I'll have a song that just doesn't fit on a record, and it just doesn't make it.
I can tell you there's been multiple times, I think Black Mountain was one of them. I listened to you play it live about a year before, I guess it came out on the album, maybe 6 months, and I was like praying that it was going to make it onto that album. So I love it. So you're a well-traveled guy. You grew up in sorry if I'm misappropriating, but you grew up in Michigan, right? Or in El Paso? You were born in Michigan, grew up El Paso?
Well,
then Germany.
Both those are true. I was born in Michigan, but we moved there when I was 2 to Germany. And then I spent most of my childhood in Germany. I spent about 16 years there before I was 20. So that's mainly where I grew up.
Okay. And what makes you call Texas and Austin, what made you feel comfortable with saying, you know what, this is where I'm going to set up shop now?
Well, I mean, I moved there 30 years ago, and I haven't moved since, so that's by far the longest I've ever lived anywhere.
You just said, all right, well, this is the one that stuck.
I kept wanting to move, actually, but there's something really special about Austin, and I just never moved.
Yeah. I don't blame you. And Texas is great. We're glad to have you in Houston, too, so we really appreciate that. I do have a kind of off-the-cuff question, so tell me about Ollie.
What do you want to know?
He is one of those people that when you have your one-on-one shows or your single person shows, and then you've got your big shows, and when Ollie walks out on the stage, everybody goes, oh my god, he's out here. Where did Ollie come from? Like, how do you know him?
I don't know. I have no idea. I feel like I've always known him. I had a side project called Texas Bluegrass Massacre, and we were looking for an accordion player, and somebody suggested him, and so he started playing in that band, and he was so great on stage and such a great musician that after about a year of that, I asked him to start playing shows with my regular band, and he's been there ever since.
I mean, he's got some energy. I'll give you that. Like watching him, it's his own performance over here to the side.
Well, he's a real entertainer.
Yeah.
He gets on stage and he's aware of what his job is, and he's amazing at it.
So HM Magazine actually started all the way back in 1985, and we were a heavy metal Christian magazine back in the day, and we've actually transformed to more about the personality of the artist, more about just kind of the story, and we've gone down this journey. You brought up the perfect example right out of the gate about your daughter. Is there any high level, like your journey along the way? What's been kind of like the most positive part of that journey? Do you enjoy the songwriting the most? Do you enjoy being up there on stage the most? Do you enjoy being able to put out an album that everybody loves? What is it that kind of like sticks out to you?
Well, it's both. I love making things, so I love writing songs. And then I love performing them. Mm-hmm. So if I could only do one, I probably wouldn't do either. Because I love, like you're saying, you've been to a lot of shows, you always hear a new song. Like if I couldn't play new songs at live shows, it just wouldn't be fun anymore for me. Like I told myself I'd never be in a cover band, so I don't even want to be in a Bob Schneider cover band. So for some people, that's not what they want. Like they want to hear songs that I wrote 20 years ago, and the fact of the matter is tonight, half the set I've written in the last few months.
Really?
So you'll hear some songs.
There you go. I didn't expect it. And then the other part of this is when I have the opportunity to go and it's more of the one-on-one setting, you're almost like a stand-up comedian. Do you have like do you know what you're going to say before you go out on stage, where in between those sets? I mean, I've been at some where I've been like, you don't even have to play. Like the stuff he's saying is just cracking everybody up in the crowd. Do you come up with like material on that front before you even get out there? Or is it all just...
No, I think the key to my comedy on stage is I'm real scared.
Really?
So yeah, I think what happens is I'm so afraid of failing that I find ways to be funny, but I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't have any of that prepared for the most part.
Wow.
So.
And when you're looping, so again, I hate to keep going back to this and harping on it, but being at so many shows, when you're doing certain loops and you're playing songs, a lot of times they actually have a lot different sound. Are you doing that just again? Are you just sitting there and going, you know what, tonight I feel that it's going to go this way? Or are you thinking before the show starts, I know the show is going to be a little bit more upbeat, or I know the show is going to be a little bit more ballad-esque? What do you think?
No, I just kind of, I don't ever work off set lists anymore, except for Monday nights, but just because that's all new material. So I have to kind of let the guys in the band know what we're playing.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, I just kind of go with whatever I feel like should be the right thing to do, depending on the crowd and how I'm feeling, really.
Well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because we love it. And we
Thanks.
just want to thank you so much for your time this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, Chris Buckner, HM Magazine, Bob Schneider, thanks again so much for your time.